as a whole. In restaurants, they ask you, basically, if you're walking naked at night. Filling station, there's someone there to help you. Therapy is really frowned upon. You would see so many greenhouses. That would mean would be searched several times, either in a day or in a week. Hi everyone. Welcome to tonight's super relaxing ASMR session. Hope you enjoy these tingles. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel as well. Also, if you feel like, do leave us a comment in the comment section. We really love hearing from you all. Someone in one of our premieres was curious to know what are some of the things that are considered normal in my culture or in the country where I'm from, but may appear super weird to others, like to other people in the world. Well, this one is actually, my husband always thinks this is the funniest, that in Kenya, at the petrol station, the filling station, there's someone there to help you. And the supermarkets too, there's someone to help you load up your things on the, what is it called? Is it called the carousel? Can I call it the carousel? So it looks like one. And also put them in a bag for you, and sometimes take the shopping to your car. And at the petrol station too, someone will fill your gas. You don't have to go pay at the counter after filling it yourself, like they do here. He finds that so amusing. Says it never gets old, like he's amused all the time we go to Kenya. Another thing is, once you're married, you're expected to have a baby, like within the first year of marriage. So for us, we were questioned so many times because we've been married now 9 years. And the time we were married, let's say 7-8 years without a baby, everyone is always asking us, are you guys okay? Why don't you have a baby yet? Also, it's a kind of a thing that we see most expatriates, at least the ones I've seen, not really friends or acquaintances, but even people I see online, once people expatriate to, let's say, a country like the one we're living in or the neighboring country, they conceive pretty quick and they're expecting pretty quickly. So everybody was always asking us in Kenya, how long have you been together? I'm like, oh, 7 years. They'd be like, how many kids do you have? I'd be like, none. And I would just watch their jaws drop, like, why? And some people would actually feel sorry for me. They thought I was barren or something. It was absolutely crazy. important family members, aunties and uncles, sometimes even family friends, we call them aunties and uncles. I'll be like, that's my auntie. I'll be like, oh, from your maternal side or your paternal side? Be like, from none. She's just a neighbor, but she's my auntie. People who are not from my culture always find this super weird when they visit Kenya as a whole. In restaurants, they ask you, when you say you would like, let's say, a beer, they would ask you room temperature or cold. And everybody's always asking, like, who would drink room temperature beer? Well, there's some people who don't mind, bearing in mind that in a country like mine, not until the last few decades, people didn't really refrigerate stuff. Fridges were luxury, and in many homes they still are. So it's not uncommon that people are used to drinking room temperature stuff, juice, tea and stuff. This one thing, my husband finds it super weird, because it doesn't happen where we live, that you're searched. Like, empty your pockets, leave your bag behind to be searched, top to bottom, each time you enter any building or mall, or, like a mini mall, if I may say that. It's really crazy that they will search your bags and stuff. I can understand it's for safety, but if you live near a mall, like this last time we were in Kenya, our apartment is near a mall, and to go like 2 or 3 times a week, or even sometimes the whole week, we just go all the time to get stuff. That would mean we'd be searched several times, either in a day or in a week. It's really crazy. Yeah, people from many countries are always in awe when they arrive in Kenya and find out that people speak English. Almost everyone speaks English. It's crazy because when you travel to so many other countries, you don't get the same courtesy. And of course, no one is saying that every country should speak English, but then it's an international language. I mean, if you want to travel, if you ever want to leave your country, you have to, learn and speak English. Also, I don't know if this is super weird, but in Kenya, people don't really use like Visa card or MasterCard. They use M-Pesa. It's a mobile payment portal that you send money from person to person or from person to bank through your phone. So in essence, the money is saved in your SIM card, really. Let's take for example Safaricom. That's the portal. Safaricom is the dominant telecommunications company in Kenya. So M-Pesa is really like they came up to the M-Pesa, they gave birth to it. Any kind of PDA is hugely frowned upon where I indulging in any PDA, that's seen like super. People would actually think you are mad or the two of you are on drugs. If you walked around doing that, yet in, for example, the culture we live in, you would see such young kids, indulging in PDA in public, and it's pretty normal. It's the same thing with when you are a teen. In my culture, you would never dare to bring your boyfriend home. Never. Yeah, so it's frowned upon. Like if, for example, a teenager would say, I'm bringing my boyfriend to meet my parents. That would never happen because it's highly discouraged that you indulge in any kind of relationship, even if you're over 18, No matter what, you do not bring anyone like a boyfriend home when you are under, I think, 25. It's considered disrespectful to your family to say, oh, this is my boyfriend, then run in the room and close yourselves in there. That's just, it should never happen, really. Also, it's funny how people in my culture really visit the doctor, like go for a doctor's appointment only when they are sick. Nobody just books and says, I'm coming for a checkup like we do here. Also, therapy is really like frowned upon. Well, right now it's gaining traction, But when I was growing up, the only people who went to therapy were people who were mad. Like mad. Yeah, then you would be referred to a psychologist, In the summer, I see that sometimes there are people who are like, they go to like nude beaches, I remember once we were at the lake because we live in a landlocked country, and we hired a boat for the day. We're just going to sail around. So many people had their boats out that summer. I think it was 3 years ago. And in one boat that was passing us by, there was an older man and his wife, and they were stuck naked, not sunbathing, just walking around the boat in their 50s or 60s, completely naked. And also at the beach, they have like people completely strip. Of course, not all beaches, but some designated beaches or lakes. I'm like, in my culture, if you're walking naked, especially at night, then you're considered occult. Like in Uganda, the culture will consider you like man-eating. You eat, you're a cannibal, basically, if you're walking naked at night. Also in my culture, it's considered very, very rude, weird and disrespectful to see a young person arguing with an older person. Like literally, this will shock people. Even if the young person is right, at that moment nobody's considering that. Everybody's looking at the fact that this young, disrespectful most cursed. Just in the name of I'm older than you, you know. Then you find older people really doing stuff they shouldn't do, or challenging your authority that you know better, you know. Maybe you know more in that field, but they're like, hey, I'm older than you. I know what I'm saying. You'll be like, hey, I'm educated in this field. I know what I'm saying, you know. So my husband was kind of shocked the very first time we went to Kenya that the dominant telephone company there is called Safaricom. And usually what people do is they paint their shops and buildings the logo of Safaricom. So Safaricom, the logo is predominantly green. You would see so many greenhouses. The other day he was just talking about something and he's like, wow, they'll just build that house and slap green color all over it and the word Safaricom. I don't know what you were talking about, but I just said that in passing. So yeah, it's a kind of a norm for shops and businesses to paint their place of business or their building or their shop Safaricom. It's always so hard for me to go against my nature. When I'm with my husband and my baby, the nature being bargaining for everything. When I'm with the two of them, because they are white, I'm not able to bargain. I lose my bargaining power. Bargaining in my culture is something so, it's considered part of life, you know. You don't go to any shop apart from like supermarkets. Every other shop, you don't go and just buy something cash. Usually it is said that they've hiked up the price by 20%. So the final price is usually the price that they should have given you, you know, together with their own profit. For example, if you go to buy, let's say, 2 buckets for storing clothes or for washing clothes, right? And they tell you that one is 700 Kenya shillings. You can just tell them, hey, sell it to me for 5 and we have a deal. And they'll be like, no, madam, I bought it for 5. I need to make a profit. Then you'll be like, how about I add another one? You know? So, at the end of the day, they'll give you a discount. They might bend more to your side, or you might bend to them. But the most important thing is that you do not buy the original price they told you. Usually when you say I'll buy another one or I'll buy something else, they are more inclined to give you a bigger discount. It's really crazy. It's the way of life where I come from. So you can bargain from groceries at the market, meat, everything really, even when you're buying anything really, even when you're buying something like land and they tell you their price, you can tell them, hey, I have this, give me a discount. You know, it's really part of life to ask for a discount. Guys, I am quite sleepy, so I will continue with this. The super weird culture stuff in the next video. It's a little past 1 a.m. in the morning. We've had, as usual, a hectic day. It's getting darker earlier because the time's changed, if I'm not wrong. Remember, my mother-in-law was here just the other day and she was telling me something about the time changing to winter time. Really autumn. So I'm not sure it changed, but we thank you all. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much for tuning